Is Portugal still an affordable place to buy real estate? You may have heard that over the last few years, real estate prices in Portugal have risen dramatically, especially in the three most popular areas of Portugal, which are Lisbon, Porto, and the Algarve. But what about here on the Silver Coast? Can you still find a good value here? Well, prices have definitely risen here as well, but in this video, we're going to show you 10 properties that you can get for under $200,000. And yes, some of them are even walking distance to the beach.
Well, if you're new to this channel, hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Dawn.
And we're the Unretirees. And last year we opted out of traditional retirement and instead live and work abroad from the Silver Coast of Portugal. And this channel is about living abroad, flexible income streams, and travel and adventure over 50. If that's the kind of content that you're interested in, we'd encourage you to like this video, subscribe to this channel, as well as click the bell so that you're notified of any upcoming videos. We also have an Instagram account as well as a weekly newsletter that you can get for free, and we'll leave the links below for all of that. First, let's define where in Portugal the Silver Coast is. It's about a 150-mile stretch of land that runs between just north of Lisbon to just south of Porto, right up against the western coast of Portugal against the Atlantic Ocean. And it is an area that is known just for stunning beaches and moderate weather. And it is a great place to be able to explore all the other parts of Portugal. In fact, we've done 2 videos about living on the Silver Coast. We've done one about the best places to live on the Silver Coast, and the other is the pros and cons of living on the Silver Coast.
So in this video, we're going to talk about 10 different properties that we found that we think have some potential to them. And yes, as I mentioned, some of these are walking distance to the beach. In fact, number 10 is such a good deal. It kind of blew our minds that you could pay so little and be so close to the beach. But we don't just want this to be about what we think. We want to hear from you as well. We're going to put a number on each of these properties, and we'd love for you to tell us in the comments below which property you like best and why. And we'd love to just get your feedback on some of these properties. Again, everything priced under $200,000. And by the way, if you want to see more videos like this, maybe another area of Portugal or another price point, or maybe one on renting, let us know in the comments as well.
And if you're ready to do an even deeper dive into moving to Portugal, you can book a one-on-one call with us, or you can put your name on the waiting list for a Moving to Portugal course that we are working on and that we'll be soon releasing. And we'll leave links below for both of those things. So in this video, we're going to focus on 3 areas of the Silver Coast which are very popular with expats. The first is the Caldas Rainha area. The second is the Nazaré area, which is where we live. And the third is the Figueira da Foz area. I hope I'm saying that right.
We're learning our Portuguese, so.
We are. So we're going to look at properties that are all priced under $200,000, which is about 191,000 euros at today's exchange rate. So we're going to just focus ourselves on properties that are at that or just below that.
Now, by the way, you can still find properties in this price point in Lisbon and Porto. They are a little bit harder to find. They are going to be smaller, probably around 400 to 600 square feet. They'll probably need some renovation, but those deals are still there in those 2 cities. However, you will get a lot more for your money here on the Silver Coast. So let's jump in.
So let's start in the Caldas Rainha area. Now, Caldas is about 45 minutes north of Lisbon and about 15 minutes by car to the Atlantic Ocean, to the beach. And it's right near the Obados Lagoon, which is spectacular because there's golf courses nearby, there are stunning beaches right there, and just outdoor recreation, just incredible stuff available to you. So we're going to look at properties that are in town, just slightly out of town, as well as closer to the beach. So let's look first at a couple that are in town. So number 1 here is a property that is in town for 185,000 euros, which is about $192,000. It's 3 bedrooms, it's just a little under 1,000 square feet. Everything looks pretty new and modern, and it is in a condo complex. So this is a pretty good idea of what you can get if you want to live in town, be close to everything like stores and things like that. This is a useful thing if you're moving without a car. Now, number 2 is an example of a detached home that's actually right in town of Caldas. Now, this one is a little bit smaller, about 750 square feet, but again, it's renovated and modern, and it is a detached home, so it's all your property.
So let's say you like the Caldas area, but you want a little bit more space, a little bit more land. Well, this one, number 3, is located just outside of town. There's a few things we really love about this one. Number 1, it's a great space for gardening and has beautiful views of the rolling hills. The house is about 1,400 square feet. It has 2 bedrooms. It's also renovated, but it includes an unfinished annex. You can make that a workshop, a guest apartment, an art studio. You also get covered parking. I think this one is really cute with tons of potential. You could even put a pool in the backyard if you wanted. Now let's say that you love this area in general, but you really want to be closer to the beach and you want to stay under that 200,000 mark. Well, one of our favorite spots on the Silver Coast is Foz de Arelho. I'm butchering that, I'm sure. But here's a condo for 187,500 euros. It's about 700 square feet. There's no elevator, but you're just minutes from the beach. Now, it's very bright, which isn't always the case, and we don't know this exact complex or location, but based on how special this area is, how spectacular the beaches are, how much there is to do, how close it is to the only golf courses on the Silver Coast, if we were looking today and we were looking in this price point, we would definitely put this on our must-see list. Now, you would need a car most likely in this area, but we think that this is a really great price point. Now, before we move on, again, we want to hear from you. Tell us which of these properties you like most or you would most consider and why you like it in the comments below. Now, next up is Nazaré. This is an area that's obviously very close to our hearts. It's the place that we call home, and it's a small town of about 15,000 people. It is a tourist area, so in summer and during big wave season in winter, there's a lot of tourists that come to town. It is actually getting much harder to find something here in Nazaré at this price point, but we did find a few, so.
We did. So number 5 here is a 1-bedroom condo that's for 189,000 euros. It's about 800 square meters. Not a bad sized kitchen for the space, and it's pretty standard, but you are in Nazaré. And then number 6, if you want to be just a stone's throw from the beach, here's another option for 185,000 euros. Now this is in Lower Nazaré, so you'll be close to all the action. Again, it's another 1-bedroom. It's a little bit smaller at 570 square feet, but again, you can just quickly walk to the beach.
Now, of course, at this price, you're probably not getting space or land or maybe even parking, but you don't have to go very far outside of Nazaré to get both. One area that's very popular with expats who want a little bit more space is nearby Alcobaca. So let's look at some options in this price point in Alcobaca. If you want a lot of land and you don't mind some reno, number 7 is an option of a small farm. Now this has a small 2-bedroom fixer-upper, but it's on just under 2 acres for under $200,000. And you're still close to the beach. It's only about a 20-minute drive to the coast.
So you can get larger homes or larger condos in Alcobaca than you can in Nazaré, but at this price point, you're also probably going to need to be doing some renovation. But certainly as you move inland, you do get more for your money. Again, if you want to see a different area or a different price point, let us know. But this place is still, Alcobaca is still very close to the beach. It's, depending on where you are, a 15 to 20-minute drive.
And we just want to say too that this is a very small sampling of the Silver Coast. The Silver Coast is huge and there's lots of options, but this is just kind of a quick overview. So if you want more land, there's other areas you can look at as well.
That's right. So now let's talk about Figueira da Foz. This is an area that's really popular with expats. We did consider it. We have been up there a few times. We don't know it all that well, but it's a town that's about 50,000 people. Again, very popular with expats. For us, it felt a little bit too north, especially from the weather standpoint. It's just a few degrees cooler than where it is where we are now here in Nazaré. It is about an hour and a half south of Porto, and again, it's a very popular location for expats.
So there are several options for properties under 200,000 in this area. So number 8, for example, is a detached house for 170,000 euros. Now this is a 2-bedroom, just under 1,200 square feet. The interior finishes are pretty standard for what you'll find here in Portugal. I think once you clear out all of the furniture here, there's a lot of potential here, again, especially within this context of under $200,000. Now, in just a moment, we're going to show you that one near the beach that just blew our minds. But before we do that, we really wanted to throw one in here that was just a hardcore renovation for those of you who just really love taking on those hard projects. This one is priced at 49,000 euros, and it is about 400 square feet. This needs a total rehab inside and out. Now, we don't really know what the price or the process would be for completely rehabbing a property like this. If you have any experience or insight about that, please tell us in the comments below. This is probably more than we would take on, but for those of you who love a challenge, a property like this is a great option. So last but not least, let's head to the beach. This is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath condo close to the beach. You can see how close to the beach it is in this photo for 125,000 euros, which is about 130,000 US dollars to be this close to the beach, which we think is just an incredible price point. Now, this is just over 1,000 square feet, so I'm guessing those 3 bedrooms are going to be pretty small. But if you want to use those for maybe an office or a closet, you can see here that this room here is very small. But there's very good light in this home. Again, very close to the beach. If you've seen our other video on the best places to live on the Silver Coast, you know why we love the beaches in this area so much.
So those are 10 examples of what you can buy on the Silver Coast for under $200,000. And we'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Which one would you buy and why? But Dawn, which one would you buy?
Well, I love Foz de Arelho so much, and that really bright condo, I think if we were looking, like we said, we'd probably include that one. But I also really like that one in Caldas, Rainha, with the annex that needs renovation, and the garden and the view of the rolling hills. That just feels like a blank slate, and I could see a lot of potential. I could have a lot of fun with that one.
Also, just to remind you that if you have more interest in moving to Portugal, you can book a one-on-one consultation call with us, or you can put your name on the wait lists for when we release our Moving to Portugal course pretty soon, and we'll leave the links below. And in the meantime, if you're interested in watching a video on what it costs us to move to Portugal, watch this one right here.